Guys, one of the joys I have is just connecting with brothers who get to share the Dream Connections experience in all of its glory in various forms. And today I've got Rick with me, and Rick just got back from Ukraine, what, 48 hours ago or less?
Sunday night, I arrived back to Florida.
Wow. And so this is Tuesday afternoon for me, Tuesday morning for you. So,
Yeah.
wow. Are you adjusted already to the travel and the time zones?
Well, it takes me just a couple of days to adjust, but I did get some good rest and I planned for it because I knew it was going to be a long flight. So I went ahead and worked from home, so I can get some more sleep, and it's working
Nice.
out just fine.
Nice. Well, Rick, this is such a joy. To me, one of the things that we're always re-innovating Dream Connections and what we do to try to find more ways to create couples and deliver the experience, the legitimate experience here. Rick, you came and signed up to do a video quest tour in October and now visited your girls. So let's start back further than that. Also, prior to recording, you made the comment that you've probably been watching Dream Connections longer than most people. When did that start?
I'd be hard pressed to give you a year because it's been probably more than 4 years. But the reason I didn't pull the trigger earlier is because I was getting finances in order and things of that sort. And I remember in one of your videos, you had mentioned, hey guys, don't worry about that too much. If you can swing it, you should go. And these girls are so simplistic. They're non-demanding. Yeah, you were right. Don't wait, go, because I had a great time. I had a fantastic time in Kherson. She showed me everywhere. She loves the nature. She loves outdoors. So she had me walking everywhere. And of course, the far trips were taxi.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's part of the adventure, just riding in the taxis.
Oh,
So,
yeah, I would
yeah.
say
So
so.
tell me a little bit about your time. First of all, let's go back for a little bit, and I want to, if you wouldn't mind, describing for the guys how the VQT process, the Video Quest Tour process works, and what it was like for you, and even more specifically, I think if I were a guy, I'd be wondering, can you really create an emotional connection with somebody through this? But kind of walk them through that. What made you decide to do that, and what was it like?
Well, the VQT, the Virtual Quest Tour, came about because of the pandemic and the lack of flights. So I think that was a brilliant, brilliant idea to remain connected and continue to be able to talk to the girls and of course with technology you have the video calls, you have FaceTime. So it's not the old ways like email, and you're not really getting a connection out of that. But with our coach, since Elena speaks English, so it wasn't a lot of intervention there because the way the program has worked as far as VQT, and I'm assuming it's the same or almost the same in person, but instead of going from table to table, you're picking 10 out of the site of profiles that you may like. And like you always say, you may like the profile, but it's not always a compatibility. So I went in with an open mind, and physical beauty aside, because they're all beautiful. So I didn't go in it with that mentality. I'm not looking for the supermodel. I'm looking for compatibility. And like-mindedness is what I was really hoping for. And Elena chose me as much as I chose her. And
Mm.
she had to go on a business trip. She was the third person that I spoke to. She had to go on a business trip and she had to go away. So the Wi-Fi and the internet connection is not so hot in certain areas. So we didn't get a chance to talk while she was away at work. And so I'm speaking to all the rest of them. But and then it was something that struck me in that brief conversation. And I asked, so have you heard from Lena? And she goes, yeah, actually, she was asking about you too. I was like, okay, that connection was immediate,
Yeah.
and so the connection was immediate. And I kind of knew then, but I said, you know what? Let me go through the program. Let's go from start to finish. They know what they're doing. I trust the system, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. And I'm glad I did, because at the end of the day, Len and I chose each other,
Mm.
and the compatibility is so strong that we haven't disagreed on anything. And
Jeez.
it's not an appeasement. Sometimes you appease someone and you don't want to disagree
Hmm.
because you worry about how they're going to feel. No, no, no.
Hmm.
We've been talking since last October of last year, and we have not yet disagreed on anything. Our value systems are on point. They're just parallel. So when I went, she says, well, it's our first meeting, so it's like kind of like the beginning, really, and not the virtual. So, like you always say, yes, it's always better in person. If you can swing it, go in person. I think it's gonna work even faster going in person. But the VQT was, I say, just as good, and it gave us an opportunity to talk about many topics and see, wow, are we going to break compatibility? Is the shoe going to drop? Do I still go? And all of it was, yeah, I'm still going. And she's fantastic.
Wow. Okay. Now I guess a question, because we throw around terms sometimes like compatibility and other things, but in your opinion, for your case, how did you define it? What did compatibility look like to you?
Family values. Family values is I asked myself, of course, being from the West, is she wife material? Now, what does that even mean, right? So, is she the type of personality that's going to better deal you? So, what is she? What is she like? What does she want? So, I'm trying to get to know her on a fundamental level, on a family value level, and her family values are just as strong as mine. Parents are still together, so that's a great message. The
Mhm.
things that she has, she's very open and honest, and she believes in communication the way I do. I I told her I'll put anything on the table. You feel free to ask me anything. I don't care what it is. If you think it's controversial, I don't care. Ask me anything. I'm an open book. So just with that alone, the guard is down. With that
Mhm.
alone, she felt so comfortable and so secure in our conversations that that's exactly what we did. We put everything on the table. And this is just virtually. So when I got there, we already knew each other since last October. So it was all about hanging out, having a good time. And I'll tell you one thing, and
Mhm.
not exactly sure if the guys do this or not, but we did not speak on anything sexual, anything like that. That topic was not even part of the discussion. We were discussing ourselves fundamentally, our values. What is it that we would like out of a relationship? All the important things.
Mhm.
And we had such a great time that we were just hanging out. She was showing me the entire Hillsong, all the hot spots. And we went from mountain climbing to bowling to air hockey to, basically the beach where two older Russian ladies wanted to adopt me, by the way. So, Ukrainian ladies.
That's cool.
Yeah. So a lot of fun.
Man, that's so cool. All right, so you finally got here. Now, in between from October until now, were you on video calls or just Viber or texting? How were you communicating?
WhatsApp.
What's
So
that?
we were communicating through WhatsApp, and we speak scheduled every other day. So we have our schedule. My 3 p.m. is your 10 p.m. there. So that's how we have it. And because she also still takes English lessons, even though she speaks it, and I reassure her, you articulate it very well. It's, of course, you're going to have an accent, but that's not your native language. If I spoke Russian, I'm going to have an accent, and I'll probably sound,
Hmm.
of course, different over there, like even on the phone, but that's expected. As long as we can communicate, that's great. But she speaks it very well, articulates it very well, and she's very mild mannered person. She's awesome.
That's
Yeah,
very cool. That's very
yeah.
cool. All right, so when I'm just curious because the thing, like for instance, I've got Mike here today, just arrived last night. He was on a VQT, and now he's going to meet his lady for the first time. Was there some nervous energy, excitement to meeting the first time, or was it like, oh yeah, it's you? Saw you yesterday on Viber, or on WhatsApp?
No, it was the excitement is still there because and on her part as well. Yeah, you can tell that little nervous energy that she had, but at the same time, because virtual is virtual. But
Hmm.
she's probably thinking, how is he going to be when he gets here? Is he going to be one of these aggressive Americans or something like that? And I knew, first of all, I'm not that type. But if you are one of those aggressive types, you might want to tone that down. Don't scare the lady off. Just go easy. Just let everything flow. It's every topic that you haven't discussed, you will discuss it. Just don't push anything. Relax, and just go with it and have fun. And that's the mindset I went in with. And of course, that again, made her feel comfortable. And so I held her hand. We were walking down the street, and I was like, you don't mind. Here I am coming from the West. And she was
Yeah,
like, no, you're the man. You're supposed to do that. You take charge, kind of thing. And
yeah.
I was like, okay. But I still didn't take it as a green light to just, assert myself or anything like that. Just I'm just going in small baby steps, getting to know what her likes and dislikes are and things of that sort. And it worked out fantastic. Just
Mhm.
taking it easy, you know?
Yeah. You can always find out too, by testing those limits. You feel the response. If you go to grab her hand and she melts back into you, you feel that. If you put your arm around her and she puts her arm around you, and you can feel her relaxing into those
Hmm.
gestures. And
Hmm.
and the guys here are always very aggressive in Ukraine, so they're kind of
Yes.
accustomed to that. But the one thing that we bring to the West to them is we do it from a place of wanting emotional connection,
Yes.
and to like go deeper into like this person, and intimacy and all that stuff follows, and it comes naturally, and
Down the
typically it
line.
does when a guy comes on his second trip or something, really proves, yeah, it was all about you and I came back for you. But and that is a subject they're nervous about too. They don't want to make you think they're cheap, and so often intimacy doesn't happen at first time you meet,
Correct.
but typically on a guy's second trip when he goes back, it just 80% of the time it does, because people like, we've now been dating for months, we know each other, and you came back and proved it, and you're already comfortable. I've always said, you guys memorize this. This is you're looking to get to that place in a relationship where you have this giddy excitement like teenagers in love. At the same time, you feel grounded and comfortable, like, God, I just feel like I've known you forever.
Yes.
And it's the comfort of the safety environment that they feel this comfort around. This is
Yes.
home, and at the same
Hmm.
time I'm just excited like crazy about this person. So when you
And
find
that's
that
precisely,
blend,
yeah. What you described is precisely what happened with us.
wow, yay,
Yeah. I
congrats,
mean,
that's so cool,
right to
man. Everybody
right to
wants
the
it.
yeah.
Yeah,
And but they make it so easy,
yeah.
it's easy to immediately care for them and even love them, and because they're so easygoing, they're not complex. There's no degree of difficulty in their personality. At least I can speak on behalf of my lady on that.
Hmm.
Our getting along, our conversations, everything's just simple and easy.
Hmm.
It's not controversial. It's not a game, and it's certainly not a game for them.
No, and how much? So, like, the interesting part is it's different on your trip. You come back just for one person, because you pretty much you can dedicate the whole day to just one person. How much time were you able to get her? Did she have to work some, and you fit it in between, or how did your time work?
No, we worked it out prior to me going, and I took vacation, and so did she. She took vacation time, and so we utilized our vacation time, and we hung out all day, every day. And she was there every day,
Wow.
and she would come by cab. The first day, my arrival to Hillsong International, she picked me up by cab, and of course, the exchange booth, the dollar exchange booth, was closed. And I'm like, oh my God! Immediately I felt bad. I was like, I don't want her to pay for the cab, you know. So I said, how can I, get dollar exchange and things like that? So, well, tomorrow, since I arrived in the evening, she took me to a Georgian restaurant. I paid by card. Yes, gentlemen, they accept credit cards.
Yeah,
So they're not they're not
they're
far
not
behind.
aliens. Yeah, this
They're not
isn't. This is not a
aliens.
third world country here.
Yes, I brought my Capital One. What's in your wallet? So, and so yeah, she took me to a Georgian restaurant that we walked to right from my hotel. And
Mhm.
from there, she got the cab. And I was like, that was the last time she paid for a cab. That was the last time she paid for anything. Because I was going to make sure I'm treat my lady that, I'm going to show her,
Yeah.
you know.
Did you
Yeah.
stay at the Omni?
No, I tried. You talking about the Optima or the,
Optima, yeah, the Optima Hotel. I'm sorry, the
wow,
Optima.
that place did not have vacancy whatsoever. It must be pretty
Wow.
popular. And, but I stayed at the Diligence Hotel. And
Oh,
I had the suite. I had the biggest room in the hotel because I had a
yeah.
balcony and couches and the whole nine. So, and then the Diligence Hotel. Funny thing about that, they wrote me via WhatsApp. Um, we feel terrible. The girl that booked it, she's new, and you booked it first, but there's a wedding and there's the bride that wants that particular room, and I wondered if, and you can say no, that if we can bump it up or maybe put you in another room or something like that, but you can say no because you did reserve it first. And I say, tell the bride that that's a gift from me. So yeah,
Hmm.
put me for, it's just for one night. I said, that's fine. You tell the bride it's a gift from me. She can have the room for that one night, and the Diligence Hotel was happy that I got there. Marie was, the staff there was happy,
And
just
you got
everything
bumped
worked out.
up.
Yeah,
And you got
I mean,
bumped up, you know, really, you're
I
cry me a
I got a
river.
yeah, well, so I got a discount because of it, whatnot, as a thank you and
Mhm.
things of that sort. Everything just worked out fine.
That's cool. That's a cool place too. It's got kind of a Victorian look on the outside. I think we did. That's where we
Yes,
did in the restaurant down below is where we
yes.
had our finale dinner. And one of the videos that the guy saw there. Actually, two
Oh,
times we went there for our finale dinners. It's a
yes.
really cool little place. And you're right, just very wonderful people. And now I know the Georgian restaurant you're talking about because it's like a triangle distant between the Optima and that and where the Georgian restaurant is. And it's like a few steps up, and then it's like left and right's full restaurant both sides, but the food was fantastic. And I hadn't
Yes.
been to a dedicated Georgian restaurant before either, so I had this mixed idea what it was, and I came away going like, whatever that was, I want more of that. So
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah.
that was a
Yeah.
good restaurant.
And I was right across the street from a place called the Boho Bar, which was
Uh-huh.
really elegant, very
Really
elegant lounge. Very nice.
missed that.
Yes.
Jeez, I got to go back.
Oh, yeah. I'll send you a video offline.
Okay, do it, please. All right.
Yeah.
So tell me where you guys go from here. What's next?
And eventually I'm going to talk to you about that because
Okay.
the ladies are saying that it's difficult to get a visa from Ukraine to the US on
Mm.
say on a student visa or a tour visa
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
something like that, which is something I wanted to discuss with you in further detail because she's able, ready, and willing, and just need the answer. So,
Okay. Well, first of all, the first question you ask is simply, does she want to do that with you? So the first question to get is from the girl. The second thing is there are basically, you don't want to try to cheat the system. If you go over on a student visa, she has to show school transcripts that she was
yes, yes,
accepted from her school and all that kind of, and she's got to actually do it when she gets there. The thing is, if you go on a tourist visa, they have not had, because of COVID, they haven't even had tourist interviews in a year. So, and plus that, even before then, they don't really like single women getting those because they know why a single woman would go to America on a tourist visa. You know, they're not kidding themselves. Then, if later you decide to marry this girl and she was over there on that, you run the risk of them seeing it as fraud, or the
yes.
or the easiest, the nicest would be they send her back and you start all over again on a K1. So with a K1, it's almost like a tourist visa because you get her there and you get 3 months to live together, party, vacation, do sightseeing, and then decide to marry it within 3 months. And if you do, she gets to stay forever. But at least that way it's legit. The other way is to marry her in Ukraine and then file a spousal visa. Says, hey, America, I found my wife. We're already married. Here's all the paperwork. And then when she gets there, she gets a green card upon landing. It's already done because she's your wife. But I really wouldn't recommend going outside of those because I can tell you a story. I know another guy
No,
who
for sure.
got her over on a business visa because he owned a business,
Mm,
and she answered the wrong question one time and coming back from visiting family, and she was bounced and barred from the U.S. for 5 years.
mm.
So
Yeah,
don't
no,
just
definitely want to do it
do it right.
the most. Yeah, definitely want to do it right. I don't
Yeah,
want her to have any issues. I don't want her to have a bad experience.
exactly.
And I'd rather do things correctly the first time, and
Right.
because it's a forever thing. So I'm patient enough to do it the correct way.
Yeah, and it's going to take the same time and money anyway, no matter which direction you go. So you might as well do it the way where if it works out, you get to keep her.
Hmm. Yeah, well, I'm definitely gonna do it the right way. That's for sure, Mark. Which is why I
That's
wanted to talk to you
fantastic.
about this.
Yeah, no problem. And I'll be glad to. Oh, I'm available. I love to coach you more. In fact, I got another guy asked me in 2 hours now wants to have a coaching call. I love it, because to me, it's guys who are serious and wanting to move forward. And I love these calls. So
Absolutely.
I'm always welcome to. And any of you guys are welcome to get on my calendar, set up a time to coach and consult with me. First call is always free, not a problem. If you want counseling, then I'll talk to you about come up with a schedule for dealing with. I guess somebody wants to deal with healing past wounds and things like that. So whatever the case may be, love to help guys break free and find their heart's dreams and make their dreams come true. So
Well,
to me, I want to thank you because to me, one of the things that's obviously is new is this VQT program. You must have jumped on it like the week we announced it.
it was fairly new. I mean, Irina was still there, and I think
Yeah,
I believe it was her that came up with like
yeah,
that idea, or
yeah. It's her
and
idea.
yeah, and I remember speaking to Irina, and that's how new it was,
Hmm.
and yeah, I mean, for me, it was a wild success,
Yeah.
and for sure, it really worked out. Whatever tension could have been there on a face to face, it was no tension, It was nervous energy, definitely from her part, because I can tell. But I was just very comfortable with the whole thing immediately.
Hmm.
And so yeah, we just got into talking about, the small stuff, get to know you kind of,
Yep.
Q&As,
Hmm.
and then eventually gradually, letting her know about me. You can feel free to ask me anything. I'm an open book. I'm easygoing. I'm this and then she goes, "Oh, that's great. I'm glad to hear that." And this, yeah. She goes, "I am too." I was like, "Well, all right, thumbs up."
Nice. Right.
Off to the right start.
It's cool. Well, you
Yeah.
guys are off on a good start. I'm really proud of you for being a man of action, and salute you for that. And following through, and it's a beautiful thing to watch. Over the years, we've had, what do we got? Almost 30,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel, and we know just such a small group actually get on a plane and come. And
Mhm.
so, to me, I really acknowledge you, and I'm proud of you. And so we salute
Thank
you,
you.
and
Thank you.
and to the victor go the spoils. So come on down
Exactly
and
right.
claim yours. Like you said, you can't download a wife. So if you don't show up, you know,
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, guys. I mean, for the guys that are on the fence or anything like that, listen. Don't complicate it. Just it really is simpler than you might think. And of course, Mark, thank you for everything that you've done. Thank you for pioneering uh, this entire Dream Connections, the company, and what you
thanks.
do. We certainly appreciate what you do because you are making a grand difference in Western men's lives. Because you still have a lot of good men out there that want to get married. But we all know the Western society and the ladies and all that. And you might have a needle in a haystack in Western societies, but that's exactly what it is. It's a needle in a haystack. Whereas the complete contrast in Ukraine, you have a lot of wonderful women that would like a life partner, but they're not going to just travel the world hoping that they're going to meet a nice guy. But that's where you come in and Dream
Hmm.
Connections to make, to create that bridge.
Hmm.
And that's exactly what happened, in the
Well, thank you. I
VQT.
appreciate that.
Yeah, and thank you for the virtual quest tour. That's worked out, very, just great. And I think you're going to see more and more of VQTs, and those guys that are on the fence. Hey, just do the VQT, and if you're going to feel comfortable, and you're going to take the flight. I assure you of that. But don't worry about
Right.
getting all your finances in order and all of that. Just come up with the funds for the Dream Connection, and the plane ticket was surprisingly cheaper than I thought.
Hmm.
With Turkish Airlines, I thought it was
Hmm.
going to be 2 grand or more. No, not the case. Not even close.
Yeah.
And bear in mind, for those guys that are on the fence and don't know and worried about finances, the dollar stretches a lot to the grivna. So the hotel, I had a suite. I had the biggest room in the hotel, and it didn't come out to $1,000. So
Yeah.
it was very affordable. So
Yeah.
your dollar's going to stretch a lot. So a lot of the guys, Mark, you mentioned earlier that, well, 30,000 subscribers in YouTube, and we only have a small bunch that go. And that's probably because of the unknowns.
Hmm.
Well, to the gentleman, if you're asking the right questions, you're going to get the right answers, but you got to ask the question, you know? So if you want to find out more, I'll make myself available, Mark, to anyone that's on the fence. Maybe they say, well, Mark has to say that. Well, what about a success story? You might want to
Hmm.
listen to him, you
Yeah.
know? So
I
for sure. I
appreciate that.
mean, I'd be more than willing to help out in any way I can because I've gone, I've seen, I've done it,
Hmm.
and Elena and I are going to start a life.
Cool. I love that about the brotherhood, man. The tribe that's one thing I made a commitment before we even had our first tour, is that we would be about community, and we'd be a
Sure.
transparent, open tribe. And I've really valued that. It's helped a lot of other guys be able to communicate with each other. And so I appreciate that. And you're paying it forward. So
Sure.
with that, I'm happy for you. Wish you the best going forward. Thanks for sharing your experience. And guys, a VQT is a great solution. $2,500, and you can get started and already meet the lady, and then come make your trip over here and close that deal. But proud of all the programs we do and what we've done to make that program as legitimate and honest as anything else. And part of the work that we do that you mentioned is that even in Ukraine, the kind of lady that wants to leave her country to go with the man is not everybody, and probably a minority. And so we are looking for only those ladies. The kind of lady that just wants marriage and she's ready to settle down, is a finite, number as well. They all have the traditional values. They do tend to dress better and be better fit and more beautiful than everywhere and take care of themselves. But even in the population here, we have to screen that down. And again, the real advantage is that we know our ladies. It's like, I don't know how people continue to do business with companies that say, well, we know these sub agencies and we'll call them and see if they have anybody, but we don't personally know them. It's like, well, how are you paying for services for matchmaking? They don't know the girl.
You're not vetting at that point. Yeah, no. The girls have to be vetted in order to make it a wild success. And I found, that's what Dream Connections does. And I know that because she and I spoke about her experience, and she's been through a few socials. So for those guys that think that they just want a green card, wrong. Those ladies they would wish that you moved to the Ukraine. They're very patriotic. They love their country. They have their family. They have their friends. They have their careers. And yes, they're career women, and they're dedicated. And, Elena took out one day out of her vacation because she was asked to help because somebody called out. And she asked me if it was okay. Of course, I'll support you in any way I can, and if you're going to take a few hours out, I'll hang back at the hotel. I'll wait for you. And then from there we go, and that's exactly the way it happened. Just support her as much as she supports you. And she sees all that. These ladies, they see all that. So all of this, what little gestures you can do, and I say this to all the guys that are on the fence that, well, gee, I don't know. Well, let me tell you, I've seen some stunningly beautiful women with guys that were like not so dapper, shall we say. And sure enough, they're clinging on to this guy, and they're holding. Nobody's going to take her man away. So I was like, that was pretty cool to see. I like that.
Yeah.
And they look for substance. They're not looking for a famous actor. And they're family-oriented ladies, as I said before. Mark's not kidding when he says that, guys. Just put the remotes down, get off the couch, go at least to the VQT, and you're doing it from the confines of your own home. So don't sweat it, guys. If you feel that you're on the fence or you're not sure, you don't know, do the VQT. You have nothing to lose, but everything to gain if you're serious.
True that.
So that's my advice to the guys that are on the fence.
I appreciate it, and I'm glad it worked for you, and I'm glad it's working for all these guys. It's turned out to be a really great program. Rick, thanks for sharing, brother, and glad to have you in Tribe. Thanks for giving back, and look forward to glad to be part of your quest for your queen, as I always say, and part of your life journey as well. All right, brother.
Thank you for everything that you've created, man.
Thanks for sharing. Have a great day. We'll talk soon.
You too. Appreciate it. Thanks.